So one of the most anticipated buffs of all time has just hit the NA side of the game, and instead of doing a normal servant review, I thought this would actually be beneficial for people that maybe don't fully understand how powerful of a buff this is for Salter. I thought I would actually just kind of do more of a guide or a walkthrough on this one, because I know a lot of people are going to see this and be like, oh, dude, Salter can do Buster farming now, but she's not just a Buster looper. She is a Black Grail compliant looper, which is ridiculous. You know, if you've done any amount of Buster farming, you know that as soon as you're able to turn the jets on with Black Grail, that character just gets raised to the nth degree, man. Like, they become excessively powerful. Now, the one thing, though, that I wanted to kind of talk about in this video is that some people, some eagle-eyed viewers might be saying, ZTL, you're missing one very important thing for doing Salter Black Grail looping. And, you know, you might be looking and you're like, oh, I see Koyan Sky, I see the Oberon, I see the Black Grail right there. You know, what are we missing? And if you go to your Salter, the one thing that you're really going to need to make this happen is you need the Append 1. You just need to unlock it. It doesn't need to be skill 10, skill 5, none, you just have to unlock it. Unfortunately, when she had her raid up, I did not pull an additional copy of Salter, so I'm going to use a command spell in this video to show you how to do it if you did have the append skill leveled and all that good stuff, right? Also, do just want to apologize that there's no upload on Monday, but as many people can probably sympathize with, I am playing a lot of the Uma Musume game. I am racing the horses out there, right? I'm sending people to the glue factory, so I got a little distracted with that, but with that being said, let's just kind of hop in here. Also, I just want to say that this does mean that, you know, Salter will work with, you know, anybody, right? Like, you know, it'll work with any CE. If you could do Black Grail farming, you can basically use any CE in the game. And then I think I was sitting on this menu for too long, so the Koyan Sky I had picked out is gone. But just give me a second and I'll cut back to it. All right, I didn't sit at the menu for like 10 minutes this time, so we can kind of get into this. But this all centralizes around a specific part of Salter's kit right here. If you read her new skill, you see that she has the on attack. I mean, the Pierce invincibility is nice, but you see this: apply a state that increases your NP gauge when attacking with a Buster card. Now, the interesting thing about this is that it applies based on the enemies you hit with this. So you'll get the most refund possible on this if you're going into fights where there are 3 enemies, right? You'll be able to functionally refund 10% per enemy you fight, and then also don't forget that on Salter's own NP, she gives herself a 10% NP on overcharge as well. So ideally, if you're wanting to use Salter with a Black Grail, a Heaven's Feel, whatever, right? A 0% starting charge CE. Maybe it's relevant for an event. Like, it could be any event CE. If you need silver drops, gold drops, bronze drops, whatever it is, you start off with the Buster Skill, right? You pop off with this one right here. You go for that. And then you're going to want to dump one of your Koyan Skya skills into your Salter. You can also go ahead and pop the back, right? And you'll see exactly why we're going to be whiffing a little bit on NP and why we actually do need that additional 10%, because, you know, you could dump this. If you're trying to save time, you don't have to use Koyan Skya's second skill. Like, if you're not fighting human or man attribute people, you can skip out on that one. But then you're going to plug suit out your Koyan Skya for this Oberon over here, and we're just going to use his charisma, right? His 20%. And so you'll see that we are exactly missing 20%. This is why the append skill is really killer on her, because it allows you to basically do Buster farming with any CE that you want to use, whether that, again, is an event CE, Black Grail, depends on how nuts to butts you want to go on this. So, again, pretend that I have the append skill. I am working on bonding up my Salter as we speak to get those additional coins, but I'm going to use the command spell here to signify that. I'm going to use it for that extra 10%. And then, of course, you can give her the other skills from the other Koyan Skya. Like, this is perfectly fine. Just give her the extra damage and all that stuff. That's the other thing, though, is that Salter already did really good damage, right? Like, she was already a really strong servant. She was just considered bad because she couldn't do Buster looping, right? Like, if you're a Buster AoE character that can't do looping, that, you know, I can't bring and use in farming setups, then they're bad, quote-unquote, right? But her damage was never terrible. But now they fixed a lot of the things with her kit. For one, the fact that this Buster skill has been made to be 3 times for 3 turns means that you can stack it after wave 1. This now becomes a 100% buster buff because look, you just slap that bad boy on there and oh, look at that, we can loop this, which stacks, by the way. You know how I said she gets 10% per enemy she hits with a buster card? We're getting 20%. You're about to see some real disgusting things with Salter real quick. Like, this is about to get extremely nasty because you're gonna see a buster character loop arguably better than some quick and arts characters, right? Not all of them, right? Let's not get too hyperbolic with it, but it's kind of nutty for a buster character. You know, the guys that don't loop anything, they were like, nah, Salter, just become an arts character for whatever reason. 70% back, huh? Is that a little good? Is that okay? I think it's alright, right? I think we can agree on that. That's okay, right? That's fine. And then, yeah, you now fire off the Oberon battery over here. You know, you can... Sure, let's overclock the Black Grail. In my case, fully leveled up, max limit broken Black Grail. You know what? Let's just give her some extra juice as well. Can't be the full juice because I don't have her, you know, I don't have my Mystic Code fully leveled, but I'm getting there, all right? And let's just see some pretty numbers from Salter over here, right? Let's just see some good numbers. I mean, this is probably the best example of a singular buff taking a servant from being a 0 and turning them into a hero. Same thing happens for Iskandar, Arthur, Raiko, like they all just get 2.4, just no power mods, no nothing. This is NP1, by the way. Like, I don't know. Do we think that's all right? I think that's all right. How much is it? Isn't that like 800,000 per guy? Because, what, 8 times 3 is 24, and that's 2.4. That's like 800,000 damage. No power mods. No nothing. And keep in mind, I know some of you freaks out there have NP2, 3, 4, 5 your Salters. And there's also the fact that this damage can get higher if you have Koyenskaya's second skill live, because obviously these are, I think these guys are Earth attribute. Let me actually double check that real quick. I think the Kali are Earth attribute people, so we're not even getting, yeah, they're Earth attribute. So we're not getting the manpower mod from Koyenskaya's second skill, and they're not humanoids. I think it's man and humanoid, right? So we're not getting any of that. So this damage isn't even as good as it possibly could be. Obviously, I can't take away from the fact that I do have a maximum broken Black Grail. I don't think most players are rocking that unless you've been playing the game for a long time or you just wail out on time to time. But the average player is probably rocking maybe the free Black Grail we got last anniversary. But this is not bad damage. For like a level 1, or NP1, level 1, an NP1 Salter, it's kind of good. She's a bit nutty. I mean, this character has literally gone overnight from being a character that you only use if you're coping. Like, I would use this character just because, you know, I wanted to bond them up, and, you know, I like Saber Alter. Saber Alter over OG Saber any day of the week. But now she's not just good, she's, like, disgusting. So I'm personally going to be looking forward to the day where I'm able to get her up a couple of extra levels. I think, what, like, by Bond 10, I should have it. I'm missing, like, 30 coins to unlock that a pen skill, but dude, I'm telling you, you haven't lived until you've hit the moment where you can just bring a guy and they just chop suey everybody to little bits and they can use any event CE you want. Lotto CE, Gold CE, Silver Drop, Black Grail for damage, why not, for memes, and then a Bronze, you know, if you need that drop. It's just really convenient to have. It was one of my favorite things about the art setup is that a lot of your arts characters could just loop with whatever event CE you wanted. That was like a nice little power creep that it had over the original quick setups, because original quick setups you really needed stuff like Kaleidoscope. It wasn't necessary for every character, but it was really wanted by everybody. Like, most of the quick characters wanted you to have K-Scope. So moving to, like, we have the ability that Arts has to use any CE that we want, and this character does a lot of damage, and they hit really hard. I mean, dude, I'm just saying, 800,000, no power mods, no nothing, NP1 is a little ridiculous. So, you know what, you guys in the comments, you guys can sound off. Do you think this is a little bit good? Am I yapping a little bit? Maybe, hey, you know what, maybe 2.4 million as an NP1 character? that's actually not good enough. Maybe we could be doing better. You know, you can sound off in the comment section down below. I do plan on making one of these videos as well for Bradamante, because Bradamante is another very, very strong buff where it's like literal zero to hero type stuff where they go from not being able to loop at all whatsoever to now they can do Black Grail looping. That's ridiculous. So I'm trying to cover a lot of these buffs that come out for the anniversary, the ones that I think are really notable and ones that you should keep an eye out for, because they make these characters demons. Like, they're legitimate monsters. Like, they're crazy. So if there's any other ones that you would like to see me cover, maybe if there's one of the ones that you think doesn't get enough love from the anniversary, be sure to let me know that in the comment section down below, and I'll get around to all of those in time. But with that being said, have just a nice rest of your day. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye!